Thank you. Aloha, Abraham. My wife Lori and I live in Hawaii, and we've come to realize that I think the dolphins are probably at least as smart as we are, probably smarter, and certainly more conscious.
What does smart mean?
That's a good question. I think that they're conscious and able to get a sense of who they are, what they want in life, and a sense of play, a sense of enjoyment. But I'm wondering also, do they have large social structures like we have? What is dolphin life like? What is family like? Do they have communities? Do they have a king of dolphins? I mean, what is their structure like?
Before you go further, that's the reason that we ask, what does smart mean? Because if it means tuned into infinite intelligence, then we would say they are, for the most part, smarter than humans because they are much more tuned in to infinite intelligence. But then, as humans think about intelligence, meaning the collecting of data, the collecting of facts, the ability to articulate. In other words, you have to decide by what parameters you are defining smartness. And we would say, from our point of view, that what smart really is, or you use the word consciousness, we're using the word intelligence. When you are resistance-free, you see, life won't allow you, whether you're a dolphin swimming or a human walking, life won't allow you to not reach for something that is new. So the dolphin is creating an expanding world in the water, just as you are creating an expanding world on land. And if you watch those, even in captivity, who are interacting with humans, you see that they not only have the ability to deliberately expand, but they want to deliberately expand. So whether we're talking about dolphins or any beast, this statement is accurate. The difference between humans and all of those animal beast beings that you are amplifying here is that the human is more deciphering of data and more deliberate in the launching of the preferences into vibrational escrow. So the vibrational escrow of a human has more detail than the vibrational escrow of a dolphin. But the dolphin goes immediately to his vibrational escrow, while the human usually holds himself apart from it most of his life. So when you become dolphin-like, in the sense of allowing, it is the best of all worlds. And the dolphin loves being with a human who knows that.
Thank you. Now, one of the things that we're thinking of doing is creating what we call dolphin drive-in movies. It hits us. We can swim with the dolphins and see what their habitat is like and at least get a sense. But the dolphins have never, at least recently, been on dry land. They don't know what a child riding a bike in the woods looks like, or a mountain, or a city full of cars. And we're tempted to take the vignettes of life on land and actually project them underwater. We'd have sonar projection as well as visual in a way that the dolphins could see it to get a sense. The hope being they might reciprocate back to help us see in some way what their life is like.
What they will do is swim far away from you, and then you will call them endangered.
So you think that's something they'd find more annoying than anything else?
Incredibly annoying. But you see, well, now let's talk about it, because your well-meaning adventure is reminiscent of someone who would find a tribe off in the wilderness who would take your refined sugar. In other words, Jerry and Esther were visiting with a man who was going to a country to adopt a child. And as he was describing this place, Esther asked the question, well, what's it like there? What is their current environment like? And he said, well, they don't have running water, and they don't have electricity, and they don't have a very good means of providing food. And Esther said, but what I really want to know is, how do the children seem? And he said, oh, well, they're happy. And Esther wanted to shout at him, leave them alone, because there is this need on the part of civilized world to want to take what you have come to the others, and we say, if you take it when they're not asking, it's sort of like pushing a noodle. It's like answering something when someone is not vibrationally prepared for it, which always puts them more out of kilter. Now, the beasts in the wild just go someplace else. In other words, they won't let you impose your will on them as other humans will.
So what would be the most helpful way to create more communication, more understanding, and also for people to get a broader sense of perspective once they realize there's another sentient species? I'm hoping it'll also give a better perspective for humans, as we start to see ourselves as not the only ones.
What do you mean by sentient?
Conscious of ourselves, aware of our own being.
There is not a species who is not that.
Okay.
In other words, all of them are.
Mm-hmm. I think if people could see dolphins as able to communicate, smart enough to have a conversation with each other, they would start to hold them as having value and not just food or something to be run over. But it might start to, in human consciousness, be seen as we're not alone. There's others out there. And give us another perspective of what do we look like to them. Kind of broaden our perspective. That actually was the hope with this.
Well, we understand all of that, and we are not discouraging you from anything that you're feeling inspiration to do. Mm-hmm. But there's something amiss in this, and part of it is when you realize that you came into this experience intending to expand from where you are. In other words, there's something about wanting to step in someone else's shoes and affect the way they see things that is intrusive in nature. Look into your world and let it help you to identify your expanded experience and then come into alignment with that expansion. And anything that as you are able to do that, anything that you do that helps someone else do that, that's a very helpful thing. What do you think the dolphins have to learn from you?
I don't think they have much to learn per se. I think it would be valuable. If I was a dolphin, I'd have a curiosity about...
But you're not.
Yeah.
You see. And so you're superimposing your humandom over Dolphin-Dom, and it's dumb. In other words, if the dolphin, from its non-physical interbeing state, wanted your experience, it would have been born into one of you.
Interesting.
But it came with a different set of intentions that, in other words, you might say, well, is it possible for that which is the dolphin to evolve into that which is man? And we say, the dolphin is expanding at a ratio that man is expanding, but the dolphin has different intentions. And don't ask it to hold your intentions, and don't ask it to understand your point of view. In other words, when the whale is caught in the net and the people free it, and the whale comes forward as if to say, thank you, that's the human interpretation, that the whale is offering appreciation, and we say the whale is not only offering appreciation, but saying, wasn't that a fun thing that we co-created together? In other words, it certainly does have interest in that, but there are people who are psychics to animals, who are giving all kinds of information that the animal is wanting to convey. And as we've listened to animals, we hear far less conversation from them. And the conversation that we hear from animals, in other words, the conversation that as we project to Esther the heart of the beasts and what they're wanting to convey, the words that she finds are well-being, eternal life, all is well, there is love and appreciation for you, I'm feeling respect for you, I'm eager about life, I fear not death, and that's about it. In other words, there is not an infatuation with projection of thought. In other words, it's more living in the moment and aligning of the energies. And what that these bring to your planet above all other things, they did not come to be the intellectual creatures. They came to be the energy balancers of your planet. They came to be those who are easily in alignment. They came to, and that's why as we talk about the domesticated beasts, those are the ones that get out of whack and begin to show their dis-ease, you see. And the dolphins, even though they don't mind communicating with you, they really are not wanting to be drawn into the details of your experience, because if you could draw them more specifically into the details of the human experience, it would be, you could inspire them unless you are tuned in, tapped in, turned on while you're doing it. You could inspire them to their first taste of disconnection, and then someone will blame it on refined sugar when it isn't.
Okay, so part of it was my coming in from wanting to do something and impose. How about co-creating with dolphins? Is there a space for that, or that you would sense would be valuable to them, or something they would like and valuable to people?
Well, go for it, and they'll let you know if they're interested and if it suits them. And one of the things that we would say about them, if you are approaching them in a gentle way and not in an assertive way, is that if they don't want to play, they won't.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And if you capture them and put them in a tank, they will make the best of it. Mm-hmm. But
no, not that.
yes.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed.